You're inside the Taylor Tilton Hour. Be sure to check out our podcast, The Taylor Tilton Show, streaming live every Tuesday at 9 a.m. Central on YouTube and Facebook with replays on Spotify and Google. Then enjoy the Taylor Tilton Hour on Comcast channels throughout the Southeast. For more information about the host of the show, visit ChristieTaylorConsulting.com. Welcome to the Christie Taylor Show. I'm your host, Christie Taylor. I am so excited about this show. I have personally been on a path since my 20s of living a transformed life. And let me tell you, every decade gives you new opportunities to transform and become the better version of yourself. And my special guest today, I had the joy around this time last year to initially interview her. And I guess I made a good impression because she's willing to come back and let us know more about what she's doing. And she's coming to us from Atlanta. Gloria Ward, she is an entrepreneur, revenue strategist, author, and new thought leader who has devoted her life to helping women around the world level up in every area of their lives. Now, for over 18 years, she says she's experienced what she feels like is to achieve success, to lose it all, and rebuild. She also knows what it's like to battle with the mind when it comes to making decisions that will dramatically and drastically impact your way of being in life. Now, she's considered to be the next international leader in self-development and business performance. Now, Gloria has become obsessed with helping women truly understand their worth and value and is the author of the best-selling book, Becoming Truly You. Her platforms, the I'm Loving Me Project and Girls Leap, have coached and mentored women from every walk of life. Members enjoy her confidence, humor, and her down-to-earth approach that has made her the most sought after and sought out female entrepreneur and self-love coach of her era. Help me welcome back to the Christie Taylor Show, Gloria Ward. I am so glad to have you here again, sis. I really, really am. And I wanted to take time with the bio because, honey, oh my
goodness. Christie, I'm super excited. And yes, it has been, it has been a journey, but guess what? I am super excited for what the future has to offer and the amazing things that are happening. And I'm so glad to be here, and I'm ready to get into it. I'm ready to dive in.
Okay, well, I'm ready for you to dive in. And for a quick recap, for those who didn't have the pleasure of initially meeting you here on the show last year, can you give them a backstory, just as much bio as you would like, about where you're from and how you came to this path of entrepreneurship and being a self-love coach?
Yes, absolutely. So, as an entrepreneur, I started in college. I used to fix kids' computers. I went to Clark Atlanta University, a wonderful HBCU, where I studied computer science, and I got 2 degrees, a bachelor's and master's in computer science. So I was broke. I learned how to fix kids' computers. Then I started selling and building computers on my own, selling it to the parents of the students who were coming into school, the freshmen. And then after that, I told myself, okay, well, if I can do it for the schools, I could go ahead and do it for myself. So I started doing it, for businesses, because my idea of, success was always to, have my own and do some amazing things, right? So that was when I was like in my early 20s. And I also got married and fell in love and had all these amazing experiences. And then life started to happen, right? Life started to happen. I found out that, my grandmother had passed, and I started having challenges in my marriage. And then all of a sudden, I found myself over the course of the years getting out of my marriage and getting separated, and then just going down this spiral where for 8 years, Christy, straight, 8 years straight, and people don't believe me. I used to party every day. I used to drink every day. I
Wow.
used to do a lot of things. There was no days off for 8 straight years. And the reason
Wow.
why I did that is because I didn't want to admit that I was sad, right? I didn't want to admit that I was losing my marriage. I didn't want to admit that I was spiraling out of control because I was the one that had to keep it all together, right? I was the one that had to make sure that nobody really knew what I was going through. I was
Mhm.
good at what I did. I always
Mhm.
made sure I stayed on top of stuff, but then life started happening. I
Yeah.
started going to jail, girl. I
Wow.
started going to jail. I started getting DUIs. I started having license suspension. Like I was just spiraling out of control. And when someone would try to correct me, I would say, what are you correcting me for? I'm just living my life. I'm just doing what it is that I wanted to do. It,
Mhm.
it really got out of control when my sister passed unexpectedly. She had a pulmonary embolism,
Mhm.
and she was walking out of the house going to the mall, Christy, just with her friends. The friends were in the car waiting on her. She's walking out the house, she falls, she passes out. And they were there when she took her last breath, and then I get the call.
Mhm.
She was only
Mhm.
40 years old. At
Yeah.
that point, I looked at everything around me and I said, I am going to live my life. But what that meant was more of the same thing that I was doing, right?
Mhm.
More drinking, more hanging out, more doing what I want to do. Forget
Mhm.
this marriage. I don't care, right? I care, but I'm still here. I'm doing it. I'm still here, right? And then one day, I got into a car accident, and the car accident, I hit someone from the back, and I thought that I had hurt them. And the reason why I got into that car accident is because I fell asleep at the wheel because I was drinking and hanging out with some friends, and I drove home. Now, here's the thing, Christy. It was only me and that person on the road. It was nobody else there, and the paramedics was on the side. And I had the windows rolled down. I thought I could make it. I saw my exit. I saw the car in front of me, and I couldn't keep my eyes open. All I felt was impact. And then
Mhm.
in a panic, I got out the car, but the car was right in front of my face, like the front part of the car.
Mhm. Mhm.
And the airbags and everything came out, right? And so luckily the paramedics, the people who stand on the side, on the side of the road, they came and it was like, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" I said, "Yes." And then they went to go check on the other people. And that night, I mean, I performed because I still had this idea like it wasn't my fault, right? Like
Mhm.
I could have made it home, and if I would have kept my eyes open. And I
Mhm.
spent I spent 2 days in jail.
Mhm.
And then when I came out, I came home. The marriage was already on the rocks. I done lost my car, lost everything. And then my business was suffering at the same time. So it was like layers on top of layers, right? And so I had to resort to getting a job because me and my husband at the time, we were separated, and he said, "You know what? I'm out of here. I'm leaving. You have to find you a place to stay." And as devastating as that was,
Mhm. Mhm. Yes.
I had to do what I had to do. And in
Mm.
doing that with no car, with nothing, I had to do something to get some money because my business wasn't giving me enough money because I'm spending it. Right? I'm partying, I'm spending it, right? So there isn't enough to pay rent and be responsible and do all that, right?
Right. Oh my goodness. So at what point do you totally hit rock bottom? Because an 8-year spiraling, that's a long time, Gloria, to be spiraling.
Oh yeah,
That's a long time. I mean,
oh girl, let
whew.
me tell you that
And the
when
impact of, as you say, and the impact of various levels of grief and loss, and marriage on the rocks, the pending divorce, the loss of your sister. When do you
business
actually
going
hit
bad.
the business? And of course, you had a very lucrative business in the IT
Mhm.
industry, and yet, just pause for a second. I mean, you're living in Atlanta, correct? You went to Clark Atlanta, historically black college. I mean, by all the boxes, you were, a model African American success story.
Absolutely.
What was really the internal emotional pain that had you spiraling?
That's a great question. And the answer to it is I'm not enough. I'm not enough for you. I'm not enough for myself. I'm not enough for the people that are around me. I'm not enough to do this business because it's failing. And
Mhm.
so I am questioning everything that I'm doing. And that, just in that, I had to take a job, Christy. And when I took a job, like a W-2, and I went to that job, they were only paying me $2,000 a month. Now, I understand that that's a lot of money to some people, but when you are used to making 100 grand a month, 80 grand a month, and you're
Yeah.
only getting $2,000, and they expect you to stay the whole damn 8 hours. Like they expecting you to do stuff, right? It was
Wow.
challenging for me, right? Because my rent at the time was 1350. So the money that I had left over was for other bills, which it wasn't enough money for, right? I knew I had the potential. I knew that I could do what I needed to do to make things happen, but I was sad and I felt like I wasn't enough. And then I had to look in that mirror. I had to look in that mirror and really look at myself. My damn eyes was so messed up. I was overweight. I'm looking at
Mhm.
myself. I don't like my job. I'm becoming this angry person because I don't like what I'm doing. And when I looked in that mirror, I had to say to myself, Gloria, do you really love yourself? Do you really love yourself? And the answer at the time was no.
Wow. Gloria, a lot of us, I had a recent conversation about some decisions I've made in my past that have impacted me, well into my, you know, current situation of life, stage of life.
Hmm.
And I was sharing, just kind of, I guess you can say, comparing notes, like war stories. And
Yeah.
the whole concept of I love myself, I'm worthy, I have self-esteem. But you were honest, because a lot of us don't want to be honest, that I don't love myself and I don't love my life.
No.
Not that I want to hang it up and end it, but it's like I don't love myself and I don't love my life. The choices that I make and the people in my circle, the jobs that we're on, the businesses we choose. I mean, sometimes even the churches we attend, any type
Oh,
of relationship dynamic, work or professional or religious or social, can prove to us that we do not love ourselves, nor do we love our life.
I was
Thank you.
masking everything, right?
Mhm.
I was masking everything where my personality is the alpha male personality, you know, and yes, I'm going to do what I need to do for myself, but deep down when nobody is looking, I am
Yes.
struggling. I am
Yes.
struggling. I got 10, 12 journals from all of the things that I was talking about over the years, and the anger and the sadness and the fear and everything. And I had to say to myself, like, girl, if you're going to turn this around, you're going to have to start loving yourself. And then the next question was, how do I do that?
I was about to say that person who's watching this right now or who may be listening to this is like, how we know how to fall in there. We know how to fall in love, honey. We know how to love hard. We know how to love beyond
Mm-hmm.
the break. Look, we know how to love other people. But how do you actually fall in love with yourself?
See, I had someone show me the path because remember, because I had got that DUI where I thought I hurt someone, I had to go to drug and alcohol counseling, right? And I pitched a you know what. I wasn't going, that wasn't me. I don't have no problem. And
Mhm.
it took me a very long time. But when I got in that class, it was a lady that I had. She gave out a paper and she was talking about the different levels of depression,
Yeah.
right? And when she got to situational depression, I found myself, girl, checking all the symptoms in the box. I'm like, and I raised my hand. I said, I got that. I got that. she like, I know that's why you here,
Yeah.
right? You
Yeah.
know, because you wouldn't be here if you didn't have a problem.
Yes. Yes.
You
Now,
wouldn't be.
Gloria, when people, no matter what situation they're in, struggle with acknowledging their own self hatred or self loathing or disdain or just distrust of themselves, they may not end up in jail with a
Mm-mm.
DUI. They may not, that may not be their bottom, but what
No,
are some things that you can give them insight into to help them identify, am I in the self hatred mode?
you
Am I not
feel.
loving myself?
I tell the ladies all the time, you feel like you're going around in a circle. You feel like everything that you're trying to accomplish just seem like it's not working out for you. It seems like you're getting burnt out doing things for other people, but you feel like you're not getting the credit. You feel like you've given so much to people and
Mhm.
nobody is given to you. You know what's happening? Your cup is empty and you're running on fumes, and you got to figure out how you build that up. And the way you build that up, the first thing you do is you start to choose you first. Because what happens, Christy,
Mhm.
is our gut always tells us the truth. Our gut always tells us the truth. When someone calls you and asks you for a favor and you know you don't want to do it, and inside of your gut you say no, but what comes out of your mouth is yes,
Come on,
you
preach,
got to be
Gloria.
able to listen. You got to be
Yes.
able to listen.
Mhm.
When someone that you know is taking advantage of you and keep getting you to do things that you don't want to do, but you're only there because of what you believe that they're giving you, money, security, or whatever it is, you don't believe that you're strong enough to be on your own. You got to know how strong you are. And the way you find that out is you start to say no. No. That
Powerful.
is the powerful word, right?
Yes. Especially
No.
when you come to it with a sense of the why the no. The truth is, going back to self acceptance and self acknowledgement, is like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to go there. I want to chill for a moment. I want to rest. I'm too full. I'm too empty. I'm whatever it is, knowing your state of being is so important. I love the last time we talked a year ago, you were really, talking about the I'm Loving Me project.
Yeah.
I want to get into that and what that really looks like and how other ladies and women can participate in the I'm Loving Me. And then I want to get to this new book that you have.
Okay, so the I'm Loving Me project, we have grown so much. We have events that we do, we have retreats that we do. Because I just feel like the more that you are surrounded around other people who are on the same journey as yourself, who will push you, who will encourage you, who will listen to you, who will help you. Through some of the things that you probably struggling with, it is the best. The best feeling in the world. Why?
Yes.
Because nobody understands what you're going through but you. But there is a woman out there who understands, and she is not walking in your shoes, but she probably been there and got a
Yeah.
t-shirt, or she's behind you and coming, right?
Yes.
So it's one or the other. So
Mhm.
what we do at the I'm Loving Me Project is we have those events and programs where we teach you about the seasons of life, so you can
Mm.
understand what season you're in. Because when you understand what season you're in, you know how to handle yourself. Like right now, I'm in a season of letting go, right? I'm in fall.
Mm.
Things are falling away. I have to be
Mm.
able to let go of things that I have been holding on to. I'm looking at people and I'm saying to myself, no, there's something wrong here. I can't have you in my circle anymore, because I don't
Right.
see this being a two-way friendship, right?
Right.
and
Right.
and 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 if I didn't know about the seasons of life, I wouldn't know how to handle it. I would take it as that person has hurt me and betrayed me and not for me, and be angry. But the way that I take it now is that this is my fall season of letting go and sitting back and evaluating the people who are around me, right? Do I truly have people who are there for me, or is it people who just want something? You see
You
what
know,
I'm saying?
Gloria, I'm so glad that you have touched on that, because I think a lot of times, going back to not loving ourselves, we could be mirroring other people's feelings and emotions. And
100%.
one thing, in the season of the autumn and the fall of your life, when things are falling away,
Hmm.
just like the leaves,
Oof.
I think from 2020 till now that many of us have been in cycles of letting go,
Hmm.
redefining, letting go even sometime of the ideas that we had about ourselves and the people around us. And
Absolutely. Or you might be in winter where just things ain't going right at all, right?
mhm,
And you trying to figure out what your direction is. And if you look at just something as broad as the economy, a lot of people were getting money from the government and everything because of COVID and after COVID, and
mhm,
a lot of people were going through the great resignation, where they figured out that they want their lives to be more meaningful. And then
right,
now we're going into this place where everything is cooling down. We're going into another season. Now it's a
yes,
little bit difficult for people to get a job. Now things, prices and everything is going up. We are going into winter as far as society is concerned, right? But you personally might be
yes,
somewhere else. But the world is going through their winter, which means that you have to know that you got to pull back a little bit, be a
mhm,
little bit more reserved. Make sure you take care of what you have. Understand that you don't need everything, but you just need, things that are necessary for you to survive. Because if you did everything right when you were in spring, when the money was good and everything was great, and
yes,
you did something with it, then the wintertime you can get through. Because
yeah.
when it was spring and everything was great, that was your time to prepare for winter.
Yeah.
You see?
What's that old story about? Well, I think it's not even a story, but just the squirrels. That they, and also is it the ants? How
Yeah,
those two, they're constantly do when all the other, they're squirreling away. The squirrels are saving those acorns,
saving those
burying
acorns.
them and everything like that, piling them up. It's
Yep.
like with the ant, they're constantly,
Because they know
working.
winter is coming. They
They
know
know.
winter is coming,
But
right?
let's see, Gloria, we didn't prepare for winter. We are in the bitterness of life changes, and we're overwhelmed. Matter of fact, we are at our wits' end. And
Hmm.
where does the I Am Loving Me project in your new book, Becoming Truly You, work, whether you're spring, summer, fall, autumn? like autumn, fall, or winter in your life, or wherever you are in the
Yeah.
changes and seasons of life. Speak
The
to
I'm
that
Loving Me
person.
project. Yeah, the I'm Loving Me project is that safe space where you could come and you can actually get that all out and start to get the knowledge so you can understand and really break down what's going on with you, because a lot of us don't. If you go to our website, imlovingme.net, you'll just see a little strip at the top that
Mhm.
says need to get something off your chest, sis, and there's a number there. Because if you
Okay.
at your wits end, and if it's something where
Mm.
you can't take it, you need somebody to talk you back into reminding you of who you are. It's an
Mhm.
emergency at that point, right?
Mhm. So
When
go to the
you
website. Okay.
Yeah, when you are in a position where you know you are ready for your healing and your work, we have, like I said, programs and webinars and different events that we do to help you start to really figure out and put all that stuff together so you don't feel like you're stuck. You don't know where to start. You don't know how to start grieving. You don't know how to start increasing your finances. You don't know how to start working through your trauma. And
Yes.
having someone to talk to does that. And with Becoming Truly You, the book, I explain what my journey was, right? I explained what my trauma was, where, my mother died when I was 7 years old. She died of AIDS. I never knew what a mother's love was. So that was a big problem in my marriage because I didn't know how to relate to this person who wanted me to call her mom, right? I never said those words, right?
Right.
And you don't understand it unless you've been through it, right? You don't understand what it feels like to be in a position where your whole life you don't know what love is, and then somebody is pushing you to love them and they think that it's giving their body away, right? Because all their life they were told, you love me if you give yourself to me, right? So Becoming Truly You outlines my
Mhm.
journey of some of the things that I went through and give you some of that encouragement and confidence to
Mhm.
remind yourself that you're not alone. Everybody has something. Everybody
Mhm.
has something. I don't care if you think your problem is the only problem on earth and it is the biggest thing. Everybody has been through something. Your journey might not be the same as another person, but I guarantee you this: if you allow yourself to let your heart break and you feel it, I
Mhm.
guarantee you, you'll be able to put it back together. And that's why I named it Becoming Truly You, because you're in there somewhere. You just
Ooh.
have to let your heart break and get to the core of your true essence. And when you allow yourself to do that, you will start to rebuild yourself up with different morals and values and boundaries. And you
Yeah.
won't take the same stuff that you were taking before, because now you went from healing and now you're moving into growth.
I'm so excited about this. And I know that we're coming to the end of 2022. You've got exciting things on the horizon for 2023. And for
Yes.
those who would be interested in, finding out more about Gloria Ward, go to her website, workwithgloriaward.com. That's workwithgloriaward.com for a chance to learn more about her. I was like, ooh, this website looks so good.
Thank you.
Love it. I love it. Like, work with me, honey. Work with me. And of course, I
Mhm.
know that you have exciting things happening, including some great, as you say, retreats and webinars. So get in the loop with Gloria Ward, based in Atlanta. And if you're watching, also want to let you know that the Christie Taylor Show now is streaming and broadcasting in Atlanta, Georgia. So for those who there and Gloria Ward, be sure to let her know that you saw her on the show. And looking forward to all the exciting things that you have going on. Any last words before we go?
Always make sure to choose you. And always remember, everybody you fight is not your enemy. And everybody you help is not your friend. So you always got to make sure you check in with yourself first before you decide to make any moves. If you will get obsessed with that, with choosing you first, then your growth and your healing journey will be even better.
I love it. Thank you. Choose you first.